LeBron James not in the top 5. Raised eyebrows. I mean, Bucket, at first, when you actually saw that list and you saw that Bron wasn't in the top 5, what do you think? Are you disappointed?
I was mad at them. You understand? I went crazy. You understand? Because that was like a big disrespect on Bron's name. You understand? Like obviously, even though Bron is 45 years, I feel Bron should still be in the top 5.
You think he should be in the top 5?
Yeah, obviously.
Last season, Bron had a terrible season with the Lakers, right? Lakers didn't even get to the finals. Talk less of making it to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. How will I put it now? Obviously, Bron had a good season, you understand, but his team actually had a bad season. You understand? LeBron James had to drop 50 points for his team to actually get that win at the age of what, 38?
Bro, is it about is it about LeBron's individual performance, or it's about how he's able to transfer that into the result of the team?
No, I'm just trying to let you know how far LeBron has to go in order to get his team to win. At the age of 38, you're dropping 50 points, you're dropping 60 points for your team to be able to win. And you're doing that without your second best player on the team, without Anthony Davis. You understand? You know Anthony Davis
this is more like routine stuff. Bron is expected to do well in games.
Okay.
Now, without AD, Bron should do well.
Yeah.
Now, if Bron is struggling without AD, then you know something is wrong with Bron.
Okay.
So I don't know where you're coming from now. I feel Bron not in the top 5 is absolutely spot on, because I do not think he did well to deserve being rated top 5 ahead of this season.
Okay.
So I think that's like the best decision to take, dropping him.
I want to go further on that because everybody knows who LeBron James is, and people know that LeBron James should have actually be top 5.
How many people? You are one of them. You and others.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows that, okay, finally, okay, we should have Curry since he's coming up from a great season. Okay, Curry should be number 1. You understand?
You're making it seem like Curry did not do something.
No. Obviously, if you have to ask me for my top 5, number 1 will be Giannis.
Okay, and Giannis is the number 1 here.
Yeah, obviously. Then number 2 will be LeBron.
Bron on 2.
Number 2 will be LeBron.
Bron on 2.
Number 3 will be LeBron.
Now that's been sentimental.
And then when you go to number 3, I'll give it to the MVP Jokic.
The Joker.
Yeah, Jokic should be number 3. Then when you go for number 4, I'll give it to Curry. Number 5, KD.
Yeah, I know you've talked about Joel Embiid.
No, come on, Joel Embiid last season.
Embiid's in the top 5. You know?
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I'm mad at that list. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I am mad at that list. Now
you're telling me Embiid doesn't deserve to be in that list.
So if I should tell you a bid or either Kevin Durant, who will you pick?
It's going to be KD.
It's going to be KD. So why is a bid in top 5?
Now, let's talk about KD not being in the top 5. KD recently was complaining that his ratings at the NBA 2K and the recent ratings released by the NBA 2K is not cool with it. He wants a 99, and all his career he's never had 99 in the NBA 2K. Don't you think there's going to be another KD complaint here, not making the top 5?
Yes, I just feel like since KD entered the league, man, he has not been given the respect that he has always wanted. You understand? Even being drafted, you understand? He was obviously meant to be the first pick, but the Blazers actually disrespected him. You understand? Making the Oklahoma Thunders to pick him. You understand? So I feel like, how could you put Tatum ahead of Kevin Durant? That's a big disrespect. You understand? I feel Kevin Durant should be up there in the top 5.
This top 25 is not even all about all-time ratings. I hope you know. It's all about ahead of the new season, coming from last season.
Yeah, and obviously...
Now, so you really have to understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, let me make you understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Last season, Kyrie didn't play. Kyrie didn't play up to 30% of their games. You understand? And before James Harden got traded, who was putting up those big numbers?
It was KD.
We had people like Blake Griffin that was dropping 2 points. You understand? People there that were even we had players that couldn't even carry them. KD had to drop 30.
Without KD, they're always struggling.
You understand? And you're saying someone that actually had a good season, next season you think he's not going to be better? Come on, I think obviously. I think if we remove KD out of the Brooklyn Nets, the Brooklyn Nets wouldn't have made playoffs last season.
Okay, that's taking KD off that team.
Yeah, and that's the truth.
They make the playoff. What ended up?
They made the
How did the playoff ended? For
obviously they made the playoffs with a point guard that didn't even participate in the regular
them?
season.
Actually, you have not answered my question. You said Brooklyn Nets. It was KD that ensured Brooklyn Nets made the playoff.
Okay.
Now they made it to the playoff. How did it all end?
Okay, they got swept by the Celtics.
What was it? 4-0, right?
Yeah, 4-0. But what happened to the Celtics in the finals?
So what's the point? What's the point of making the playoff? I mean, okay. So you're still watching Ball Chat with Kenny on Impact Africa Television. Right now we're talking about the NBA 25, and we are still on the NBA 25. I'm talking about the players, the top 25 players released by the ESPN ahead of the new season. All right, Anthony, let's talk about Steph Curry, the greatest shooter God ever created. He was placed in the top 5. What do you think about Curry being placed in the top 5?
You know, first, before I start talking about Curry, I used to say when people come up to me and be like, Steph Curry is the GOAT, I used to say that it only tells me when the person started watching basketball. You understand? When the person actually took interest in basketball. And Steph Curry being in top 5, yeah, he deserved it, you understand? Coming off from an amazing season and actually being the finals MVP, you understand? But you trying to push that narrative saying that he's the, how will I put it now, that he's the best shooter ever. I can never support that.
Steph is the greatest shooter,
you understand,
ever in the National Basketball Association.
To me, I feel Steph is the greatest 3-point shooter ever in the game, not the greatest shooter ever in the game.
You think he's the greatest 3-point shooter?
Yeah.
Now, if you can shoot from a 3-point range, you are called a what? Sniper.
Yeah.
That's you getting the point so well. Then if you can shoot from that distance, then you should be the greatest shooter. There's no point in saying he's the greatest 3-point shooter.
I feel everyone will want to get at me. Everyone will be getting at me like, why is it that I don't give Steph Curry his respect? I give him his respect.
Bro, you're always disrespecting Steph.
I give him his respect. I obviously I can never take away what Steph Curry has done today, has done for the game, you understand? But I used to tell people, don't be ahead, you understand? Steph Curry is the greatest 3-point shooter ever. And when you're coming about the greatest shooter ever, come on, you have to put shooters like Larry Bird. You understand?
Now, talking about Larry Bird, you know, of course, it's normal for you to have your bad days.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to go into talking some of the bad days Larry Bird had during his time. But what I want you to know is once you can shoot from the 3-point range, you are called a sniper. You can do that anytime. In fact, you can do it off dribbles. At any point in time, Steph shoots. Yeah. Now, if you can shoot from 3-point range, you should be called the greatest shooter. It's not just being a 3-point shooter. It's you being able to shoot from anywhere. Steph can also get layups steady, bro. So I don't understand why you feel he's just a 3-point shooter.
Obviously, that's what I feel. You understand? Because he made that 3-point. Actually, he changed the game. You understand? Because whenever I go to basketball courts, I want to play pickup game. You see everybody trying to shoot 3. Nobody wants to go and make a layup. You understand? And obviously, I would say Steph Curry is among top 3 best, top 3 greatest shooter ever. But I can't actually place him as the first. Okay. That's just it.
We can go on battling this because I definitely won't allow Anthony to come out and tell me Steph Curry is the greatest 3-point shooter. Why I feel is the greatest shooter, not even a 3-point shooter here. But that's what he thinks, though. We're all entitled to our own opinion. All right, talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, one man recently he's been the talk of town. Because of, he's been doing some outside, he's going into film, you understand, lately, but that's not what we're talking about. Giannis, number 1, no, that's not questionable.
Yeah, obviously, everybody in the NBA knows that's Giannis' league, you understand? Bro, obviously they say Giannis doesn't have skill, but Giannis only has to take 2 dribbles and he's on the other side of the court dunking. So, that's Giannis, you understand?
2 dribbles.
And nobody wants to play Giannis' defense.
End to end.
Trust me. You understand? I feel this is his time. You understand?
Now, talking about the some of the top 2-way players in the history of NBA, Giannis is one of them, right?
Yeah. Obviously, Giannis is one of them. You understand? He's this kind of person that actually makes the point forward position really perfect. You understand? Being a forward, being able to bring the ball down. You understand? And being able to just go straight and just make the point. You understand? He just made us understand basketball is all about making baskets. You understand? Okay. No need for you doing all those step back and all those sports center.
He's going to drop 50 in games, and he's not even shooting from the 3-point range.
What people don't know is just that Giannis dropped 50 points in the NBA Finals with actually 1 knee. So imagine he had 2 knees, man. He would have dropped 100. That's to show how good Giannis
You can't
is.
drop 100.
Come on, Wilt actually did it. So what is stopping Greek from doing
After
it?
Wilt, who has done it again?
Come on, it's just, I think the NBA rules is actually preventing Giannis from scoring 100. You understand? Because I
But
feel
I
like
definitely understand where you're coming from. He would have scored more if he was so fit.
yeah, obviously, and I feel some of the rules like offensive fouls, you understand, because
Yeah.
back then Wilt didn't have like 3 seconds, you understand. He didn't have what they call offensive fouls and all that, you understand. Today we have all those rules. That's why
And
what is
basketball is very technical.
Yeah.
You have to be careful. You can just get some fouls just for small touch. I mean, that's how the game has been modernized. Anthony, before we go on Butcher with Kenny this evening, I want to get your take on who you feel again should have been rated better. And we saw Luka Doncic in there. We saw that man Joel Embiid also, being listed in the top 5. There is that man Nikola Jokic in the second, Steph Curry fifth. I mean, I can go on and on to mention Kevin Durant not in the top 5. Which other players do you think? Which other players do you think should have been in the top 5?
obviously I know Kenny. You obviously know the player that you want me to talk about. You understand, and obviously that's Jimmy Butler. You understand, Jimmy? Well, don't look at me that way.
There's no time to talk.
No,
now,
don't.
why should Jimmy be in the top 5?
Man, we all saw what Jimmy did last season in the
What did he
playoffs.
do? What did he do?
You know, when Miami Heat were down, all they needed was Jimmy to drop 50 points, was Jimmy to drop 45, and Jimmy dropped those points.
So you are telling me Jimmy should have been in the top 5?
You watched the Eastern Conference Finals Game 6. How many points did Jimmy drop?
Where did he take the Heat?
He took us to Game 7, and those are like
of which
game
of the NBA Finals.
Game 7 is actually the best 2 words in basketball. Actually, the best 2 words in sports.
Is there any trophy for winning Game 7?
No, there's no trophy. But
they didn't get to the NBA Finals.
They didn't get. I've given you the reason why we didn't get to the NBA Finals. Obviously, and you know that Jimmy Butler actually had an injury on his knee, but he didn't want to push that narrative like Chris Paul and the others. You understand?
Okay. I mean, I know Buckets. I mean, Anthony would definitely support anything concerning the Miami Heat. He's a big fan of the Heat. I mean, any day, any time. But I really understand where you're coming from. No doubt, Jimmy had a very good season with the Heat, but I don't think it deserves to be in the top 5 there. Thank you very much, Anthony and Kem, for being part of What Are We Kenny today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kenny. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so next week we'll be back again for another edition of the program Ball Chat with Kenny on Impact Africa Television.